Welcome, Mikko, to Metalarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Insania, this new album, and more things related to the metal world in general. So we are starting by asking, how are you doing today, and how is the band during the last 4 years? Because your previous album, or fifth, what Prepared to Survive, was released in 2021, and now we have this new album.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm really good. Uh, everything's been going on pretty much since the 4 years. During the 4 years after Preparato Supervivet,
Mhm.
we started to record, well, not to record, but yeah, some demo recordings and writing some of the new songs already before Preparatus was finished. So there were some songs that actually was started already. There are two songs on the album that was written, let's say, this we started to write them about 10 years ago, but we didn't find a really good solution. How would they fit into Insania? One of them is Afterlife, which is basically Niklas and our former guitar player Henrik Johannes' work.
Mhm.
That one was actually written for a solo project. What they have, I think it was called Aramir, and I think even Ola, maybe David was recording some vocals for some of the parts back then. Nothing happened really. So Niklas asked Henrik if he could rewrite it and change some parts and make it fit on Insania. And Henrik, of course, we're good friends, everybody still, and Henrik is one of my best friends. He said yes, of course. And the other one, which is called The Great Apocalypse, was actually called Hell is All Around before, and that's why that's in the title as well. Um, I started writing that 10 years or something ago.
No? Oh.
And I wrote it on acoustic guitar from the beginning, and I realized there's so much lyrics to fit into a song like this about the great apocalypse and what happens if the world is going under. I had so many feelings, so many thoughts. How would a man feel standing there, understanding that, wow, this is it. We can't escape. Now I'm going to die. Everybody around me is going to die as well. We can't do anything about it. So even if you're not believing in God, maybe you start to believe in that sad moment. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you actually go to see a priest. Stuff like that. It's so much lyrics that I wanted to get out. And what happens in the end when you have to realize that this is happening? What's going to happen after life?
Mhm.
Uh, so these two songs have been with us for about 10 years or something.
Okay.
And the other songs, of course, they were well, we started to write them a little bit after Preparatus. Some of them we started on already, but these two songs are actually old songs that we have. I think they're turned out really well.
Hmm. Okay. Well, interesting point because, well, yes, for me, this great apocalypse has a lyric concept, a little darkness or a little darkness. This great apocalypse compared to the other ones, like World
Yeah,
All Eyes, Sunrise in Riverland,
yeah,
Fantasy in the New Dimension, or the previous one, Prepare to Subirvet is a different one, but Great Apocalypse is more darker since the
yeah.
cover art. So in this case, so what kind of topics we are in this album we have? What kind of approach do we have? Is the end of the world, or what kind of topics are you applying into this new album?
The Preparato Superivet called well, with the number five in Roman numbers. That was a marker that this is our fifth album and we're coming back. And five can also be the sign of victory.
Mhm.
So we wanted to make a marker there that we're back, and then we wanted to call something really easy as like the five in the Roman numbers. But then Niklas wrote a song called Preparato Supervivet, which is Latin, and that means that only the strong will survive.
Mhm.
The prepared ones survives. And when we started to write on that album, there are some songs with some other topics, of course, but already on that album, everything is pretty dark. I mean, you have the cover, you have something striking the planet, and the planet is burning, and there's an explosion. So we already started there with the world going under. And then, because we knew that we would make two records in the same topics. So the Preparato Supervivet was the first one. And then we knew that this album has to be even darker. It's not that we're very, very desperate and very sad people. I mean, we're pretty happy anyway. But we wanted to have that dark topic about, well, we don't believe that the world will go under, but what would happen? And we have so much destruction going on in the world with all the wars and conflicts everywhere. So we really wanted it to be dark and kind of make people think a little bit. Sometimes it's like you have to take care of the planet because you never know. Uh, I don't believe in these green environment propaganda going on that we're destroying the world with carbon dioxide. I don't believe that, but we have to be very caretaking for the planet. This is the only planet we have, and then by starting wars here and there into other countries, that's a disaster. So well, the rest of the guys, of course, as well. We really want people to think one more step, and it became very dark, and we made it on purpose somehow. We said that this will be the great apocalypse, and we will really, really have that topic from the first album, make this one a little bit darker, and but still, if you listen to the last lyrics of the Great Apocalypse song, then in the end, it's even if you know you're gonna die, then you know that you will meet your loved ones in the afterlife. So it's a little bit happiness and joy anyway, like Insania always had. But it's true that what you say that the other albums have been a little bit lighter and brighter. That's true.
Okay, okay. Well, I remember that we spoke with you for your return in the fifth, but it was just a written interview at that moment, and now
Yeah,
we are speaking about this album, this great apocalypse. And remember, they asked you about the fifth album in Roman numbers, that perhaps something related or a concept related with the first album, second album, third album, part of the conceptual albums, for example. And
yeah.
now, if we try to speak about this great apocalypse, this great apocalypse is still continue with the same feeling of the first fifth albums.
Um, how do you mean? I mean, do you mean like for the coming future, or what do you mean?
No, and the situation is, I just mean I talking about if this great apocalypse happens some related with the conceptual topic.
Well, yes. I think in my personal view, all the Insania albums are related somehow. There were also always some dark topics, some dark songs. So there is a red thread through all the albums. I mean, you have the Paradisia song from the World of Ice. That's about how mankind is destroying their own planet and going to another planet to start war. And this is about how dark humanity is. On Sunrise in Riverland, we have Beware of the Dragons, and that song is actually about. I mean, the lyrics are a little bit hidden, but it's about man and dragons ruling the world together, but man is so ego that they want to rule alone. So they try to kill all the dragons and then rule the world alone. And this is just fantasy, but this is about like how evil humanity can be and mankind. So we have the same topic a little bit here and there going on through all the albums, but then Preparatus is really dark, and this one is much darker, of course. But we always have a little bit of that same topic.
No, okay, okay. And now, well, the album is 2 days older at this moment.
Yeah.
So a lot of people hear the album completely. How it was the reception until now for this new album? Talking about the reviews, the comments of the people, and how do you take up, for example, about the review?
Uh, well, actually, we only had two reviews that are not very, very good.
Mhm.
There's one Polish one who thinks that Preparatus was really good album, and this one, well, it's just medium. They didn't say anything bad things about previous, in particular songs, but and that's one. And then we have Sweden Rock Magazine, Swedish magazine actually. We never got any good reviews from them. We always been like medium. They like I don't know what they like. Maybe they like Meshuggah and bands like that. Totally different kind of music. They never gave us any good reviews, never since we started playing. So we don't care about that. But the interviews, the reviews, the reactions from people around the world, especially South America and Asia, and of course in southern Europe. They've been fantastic. The comments on the internet, how people are describing it, how people are telling us how they listen to them, how they compare the songs. They actually listening to the solo parts and try to get them how to try to understand them, how they relate together even. There's some people that go into the music so deep, and you're just amazed when you release something and people are actually they're they're looking into every piece that you have done through the whole album, and they describe it how they feel about it. And it's crazy. So most of the reactions have been 99.9% of the reactions have been totally amazing. I can't understand that people can write so good things and be so nice. Then we have, of course, a couple of comments that have been really, really bad. One guy thought that in the I wrote the song No One Zero, which is about all the wars. And then I added the melody, the Russian melody, Katyushka, the folk song melody. And the first comment that I got of that one, that was they thought I was making fun out of Russia, which I'm not. I just like the good melody, and I wanted to use that melody and make a guitar solo of it, like I did with Last Hymn to Life. There's Johannes Brahms, Hungarian Dance Number 5 in that one. Um, on Sunrise River Run album, The Land of the Winter Sun, there is a Finnish tango called Satuma, which I rewrote and made it to a guitar solo. It's actually a Finnish tango, and for
Mhm.
me, it's like when you hear a good melody, doesn't matter who wrote it, where it comes from, the religious beliefs or anything. If it's a good melody, it's a good melody, and if you can use it and make it into power metal and make people like it, then why not? It's all about music. So, and then of course, I had some comments here just the other day, yesterday or this morning's, I think. Somebody asked me,
Mhm.
I didn't read the lyrics, but why do you use Russian folk song music? Are you standing with Russia on the war on Ukraine? And I was like, hell no, it's not. It's about all the world leaders. Check out the lyric video, and you will see that there's all kind of world leaders there. It's not pro Russia or pro Ukraine. We don't. I mean, there's always two aspects. There's always two sides, and
Mhm.
we probably don't know all the history. So it's really hard to take part there. I feel sorry for all the civilians dying in every war. Doesn't matter if it's Israel or Palestine.
Mhm.
When civilians die, it's tragic. Doesn't matter how they look like or what they believe. Or so I tried to explain that to him. I don't know if he read it yet, but some people they really think stuff like that. Is it pro-Russia? And that's just crazy. But otherwise, as I said, 99.9%, they're magic comments, and sometimes you just have to stop and read them and like, what the hell? People are writing so nice stuff about Insania and our album. So I think I've never read so good comments on any album so far. So we're really happy.
Okay, okay. Well, I understand for this one. So now, I remember one question that I asked you about why you delayed to release your first album at that moment in the interview for 2000, for 2020, for 2021. I remember asked you why did you
Yeah.
delay some like 8 years 7 years to release your first album because the band was born in 1992. Then your first album was released in 1999. So eight in this 7 years later for this one. That's well, you explained me at that moment the reasons because at that moment the band it wasn't so has a solid lineup at that moment. But
Oh,
now we are at this moment we are more with 5 albums on your career. So for you, how many things changed since you created the Insane in the beginning, since 1992 and releasing this new album?
well, as you said, from the beginning, we were a bunch of friends. It was me and Henrik who started the band. I was actually in another band, and Henrik was in another band. And we decided that we wanted to play the kind of music that we want to play, not covers by any rock band or anything like that. And then somebody has written one song, and Henrik was in the same position, writing rock music with another band. And we decided that we wanted to do something for us and then bring people in who want to be with us on this project. And when we started Insania, it wasn't called Insania. We got the name Insania, I think it was in 1997. We was
Okay.
Insanity between 94 and 97, I think. And before that, we had some various names. Yeah. So that's the reason it took. So we were only established as a band for 2 years, actually, before we released the album. When David came in 1997, and then we recorded the demo, and then we released the album. But Insania was formed 1992. So that's why it was 7 years. Anyway, and then Preparatus came out in 2021. Uh, and when that was released, we had actually a 2 year deadline, I think, to release the next one in 2023. I'm not 100% sure on this. That's what I think it was, maybe 2024. Uh, and the thing is, when we started to record the album, then Ula was supposed to do the mixing and recording of the vocals and everything, because Ula Hallén has been mixing this one as well as the last one. Then he got sick. He got the COVID. So he couldn't record the vocals on the last 2 or 3 songs. So we asked Frontiers Records, is it possible to delay this one a little bit just for a few months? Because we were supposed to be ready in February 2024 with the album.
Okay.
And we couldn't make that deadline because Ula had COVID. So Ula was totally back in form, let's say in April or something like that. It took about 2 months because he recovered. He started to record, but his voice was fucked up. And then he got COVID again.
No.
Uh, so he was about 9 weeks. He was in really bad shape. When we asked them about that, and we said the album will be ready in June 2024. Can we release it during the summer? And they said we don't know. Manual releases. There's a schedule that we need to look upon. How is it the best time to release during the summer when people are away? Should we release during the autumn? What albums are being released? I don't know all the reasons, but they postponed it and postponed it. And after a while, they came up with, okay, we will not release the album this year. I don't know why. So we will release it in January 2025. And the album has been already ready now for a year. So we were in May or June 2024, the album was already ready, already done. We haven't done anything. We had just been waiting. Everything was recorded. The master was done. Mastering from Finvox, from Mika Jussila, everything was done, you know?
Mhm.
So then they said in early January 2025, we will release the album. And we said, okay, that's good. Then we got in contact with Epic Fest in Denmark,
Okay.
in Roskilde, the big festival. And Lauge, the organizer, he's been on to us for many years, contacting us, please come and play here, please come and play. He's an Insania fan.
Okay.
So we contacted him and said, okay, the album is ready. They have a release date for January. If you want us to play in April, we will do that. And he said, everything is already set. It's fully booked. The bands are booked. I'll see what I can do. And then he started to make some changes. So he actually made changes for the whole festival just to get Insania to play. That was totally amazing.
Mhm.
Uh, and then the Frontier said, okay, February we'll release it. Okay, still good time for Epic Fest. And then they said we will release it in the first days of April, and we were playing I think fourth or fifth of April in Denmark. And then they said no, we will release it in June. And then we realized, okay, we already have the set list, all the songs are put together, and now we're going to Denmark, and they're not releasing the album. What can we do? Well, we will still play the songs, of course. So I don't know exactly why it was delayed for so long, but now it's out finally, and we're so happy about it.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, you're talking about especially presentations about the live presentation that Insania has, especially from the recent years, and now, well, the previous album, the fifth album in 2021, was released during the pandemic. So there is at
Yeah.
that moment there's no tours, there's no gigs,
Oh,
everything's closed around the world. Now
yeah.
the Great Apocalypse has it's a different world. There are
Yeah.
upcoming shows, festivals, etc. So how many things changed from you release the fifth and you are now releasing the Great Apocalypse compared obviously with the pandemic times?
Yeah, with the pandemic, it was total disaster because if we want to get out and play and you can't because people can't be together.
Mhm.
Uh, we still had some festivals calling us and asked us if we wanted to come and play as soon as the pandemic is over.
Mhm.
In Spain, in USA. and in Russia, but they were never very close to each other. So it was like if we go to Spain and play, it will be a break even because they will pay us for the trips and everything and stay in there and get some money for the show. Then we have to go back, uh, and nothing is happening. So then we should go to USA or something, and they will pay for something's going on. But usually, to make money, you should go from one place to another. And So we didn't do any shows at all after 2021 and during the pandemic and after Preparatus. And now we already played three festivals, two indoor festivals, but still we played a small one in Stockholm. We were the surprise act because we needed to get on stage before we went to Denmark and Roskilde. And nobody knew we were playing there, so it was a small festival, but that was awesome to go on stage for the first time in so many years. That was the Full Power festival in Stockholm in March of 2025, and then we did the Roskilde in early April in Epic Fest in Denmark, and then we played in Ålesund in May in Norway. That's called Warriors of Steel Festival with Marius Rasmus Danielsen, who has his own. Well, maybe you know about his project and his power metal. He has his opera, and
Mm.
three albums out in that name. So he arranged this festival, and that was so far the most amazing festival. It was indoors. It was not too big. I think it took about 600 people and it was full house all night. Only power metal bands were playing. It was us. It was a band called Palantir from Sweden as well.
Mhm.
Bionity, Dragonland, Marius Rasmus Danielsen, his project, and then Fabio Leone was there as well.
Mhm.
And so all the people there were actually there for the same kind of power metal. I mean, there's still different kind of aspects in power metal as well, but all our music is so close to one another. So everybody was there to see the same kind of power metal genre. So it was full house from the beginning till when the door closed, and it was amazing. The crowd was I never seen a crowd like that, and all the bands got along very good together as well. It's like we're all friends. And then top of the night, of course, when Fabio Leone enters and he's there to do his stuff. So yeah, after the pandemic, now we've been out playing, and who knows? Now we have a break over the summer now because people have families and there's holidays coming up and everything, and we haven't since the album came out so late, we haven't really been able to book any festivals or anything for this summer. So we'll see now what happens in the autumn. Maybe we start playing again and do some indoor festivals or some outside gigs after the summer. We're not really sure. We have some questions and some people have been asking us for a couple of shows, but nothing is really booked. So we'll see how it turns up now. As you said, the album has been out for 2 days, so we'll see
Mhm.
how things turn out. Hopefully, pretty good, but you never know.
Okay, okay, okay. So now talking about more about the future live presentations. So what kind of plans has Insania for the future, especially for the presentations? Will you present more tours, videos? You speak about a little festivals. You will play there in Europe because now now is festival seasons. There's more than I don't know more than 200 festivals in
Oh
Europe
yeah.
and around the whole continent. So now, what kind of plans do you have for the future of Insania, this new album, perhaps live concentration? You will come here for the first tour, Latin American tour. Who knows? Or perhaps you're already working on a new album because you said it. This album is more, yes, more than will be 2 years that old.
Yeah. As I said, nothing is really booked yet, and we hopefully we will have a few gigs coming up during the autumn, and then yeah, people have been asking us already about what will happen now. Will we start playing live and will we do tours and stuff? And it all depends on what's coming up, and everything is about money. We can't in Sweden you never get paid for playing power metal really.
Mhm.
It's not that big here in Sweden and in Northern Europe. Finland has some of the greatest power metal bands in the world, and if you are big enough, like Sonata Arctica or Stratovarius, then of course we will make money. Hammerfall is probably the biggest power metal band in Sweden, and I think Majestica is going up there as well. They're amazing, and if you're not as big as these bands, you will not make a lot of money. So it all depends up because there had to be budget as well, a budget that we're not losing money in going on playing.
Mhm.
So and the album has only been out for 2 days. We'll see how people if they embrace the album or if they want to throw it in the bin. You never know that, and we'll see how the journalists write about it and everything. If it's gonna be spread,
Mhm.
it's hard to say, but we done European tours before, and to play live, it's one of the best things in the world to be playing live in front of an audience that love your songs. So if possible, we would love to do that. And we have never been to South America and Latin America. We've never been there. So, and we know that we have a lot of fans there in different countries. So that would be a dream come true to go over there. Latin America or Asia, that would be, I mean, then you can just die, I think. But you probably want to live and do it again and again. That's what I think. So yeah, if there's a chance to go to Latin America, that would be a dream come true.
Mhm. Okay, okay, nice, nice. No, now we are very close to this interview, Mikko. And one thing that you said it is that usually, yes, if we spoke about power metal, usually we refer to Finland with Stratovarius, Sonata Arctica, or even
Mhm.
Nightwish has a little power
Mhm.
metal in their songs. And
Yeah,
also, if we're related with power metal, we are talking also we are talking about just for Germany or United Kingdom with Dragon Force or
yeah,
Halloween, Blind Guardian, a lot of bands. But now, when we are talking about Sweden, yes, we just only have Hammerfall, and Hammerfall is like the biggest one there. Everyone knows
yeah,
one. So,
yeah.
and for this one, what do you think Sweden didn't have any big bands apart from Hammerfall into the power metal?
Uh, I don't know. First, when we started to play the power metal, a lot of people told us like you play really good music, but you're 10 years late. Because when we recorded the World of Ice and we released it in 1999, Halloween released Keeper of Seven Keys in 86 and in 87 the second part. And if we would have released our album in 1989, we would have been on the same train as everybody else. But there was no power metal coming out. It was going into grunge music. Then you had Guns N' Roses and Metallica, Nirvana, all these bands in the 90s, 92 and 93. And so there was no power metal in the world before Hammerfall came along. And we recorded our album about the same time as Hammerfall.
Mhm.
And we were actually going up really fast, like Hammerfall. And we were supposed to go on a European tour, actually ended in Italy, in Florence. Everything was planned, everything was booked, even the nightliner and everything, after releasing Sunrise and Riverland.
Mhm.
But David got some personal life issues, and he decided to jump out of Insania 3 weeks before the European tour started. So we had to say no to everything, and then we had to go into the rehearsal studio. We had to write new songs, and we had to get a new singer, and that's how we got Ula.
Mhm.
And so otherwise, we had some tours coming up, and this was the first one, the European tour with I think it was with Vince Neil from Motley Crue.
Mhm.
We were supposed to be the support act for him. And that was the big start for us, and everything was looking so good. But then that happened. I don't know if we would ever be as big as Hammerfall, but Hammerfall, of course, they're on top. Of course they are. But I think also that Majestica is going up there. Majestica is one of the most talented band I ever seen. And when we played with them on Epic Fest, and I don't know if you know this, Tommy Johansson is singing on the Trinity song on the late part of that, and it turns out when I spoke to Tommy that he's been an Insania fan since 2004. He picked up Fantasy album just because of the cover, and when he heard it, he said to me that he knew that he wanted to be able to sing like Ola Hallén, and
Mhm.
look where Tommy is now. They have done some really great stuff with his Rain Seed from the beginning and now with Majestica. I think Majestica is the next big power metal band in the world. That's what I think. And I think that Tom is probably the best singer of power metal in Europe after Michael Kiske. You
Mhm.
have you have some iconic singers there with Kiske and Darius, of course. Kai Hansen is one of the great singers as well, in my opinion. Ralph
Mhm.
Shapers and all these guys. And Joachim Kahns of Hammerfall is one of the great singers as well. But I think Tommy Johansson, for his age and everything, he has the whole future in front of him. I think he's the next one. And he's knocking on the door to ask Kiske if he can take the throne soon. He has that capability, and so I think Majestica is going to be the next big power metal band from Sweden. That's what I believe. That's what I hope for. They deserve it. They're really nice guys. They're such good friends, the nicest people in the world. So yeah, I'm cheering for them. And
Mm.
of course, if I can vote for myself and my band, then of course I hope that Insania will be big as well. But they Majestica really deserve it.
Mm. Great, great. Well, yes, the last album from Majestic is a great one. The Power
Oh,
Train
wow.
is a well,
Yeah.
well, great album for this.
Even the debut album, Above the Sky. I mean, what a debut album from a band. They have been playing music in different bands before that, but what a debut album! And now coming up with the Power Train. It's
Mm.
like when Sonata Arctica released the Ecliptica, the first album there.
Okay.
Imagine that intro, the first song, how that started. That's how you should. You just go out there and you just show everybody that okay, we're a new band, but here we are. Listen to us, and we're wow. That's a good album as well to speak about.
Great, great. So, and one of the last questions for this interview, Mikko, and one thing that you said it is well, the Tommy is a great vocalist into the power metal now. It's a great one. So now, if we related this question with the if we related this question, oh, it is that you said it with the question. So for you, which is the best power metal singers around the world for you,
I
or which are?
think, as you may know, that Halloween has been the house gods for Insania for all the years. And when I started listening to Halloween, that was the late 80s. Kiske was the singer, and he was there until 1993. And then when Andy Darius came, he actually took over. He's the different styles there, but I've been a Halloween fan for all my life almost. So for me, Michael Kiske is number one in the whole world. But there are different kind of power metal singers that you can listen to them at different times. Like if you listen to Tobias Summit when he did the Metal Opera Part One and Part Two for Avantasia, that was real power metal songs. And then you had Kiska on there, and you had some other singers as well doing a really good job. But for me, if you listen to, let's say, Halloween now when they're united and they do the live shows and they go back in time when they put Kai Hansen to sing the old songs, he should sing those songs with his kind of voice. He is best in the world of doing that. And Michael Kiske is probably best in the world of doing what he do. And I think when Kiske does what he does, there's nobody to take over that throne. I think he's the best in the world. I think so. And I've been Halloween fan for such a long time that I love Andy Darius as well. I think it's hard they're so different in the voices. And now when you can hear them both at the same time and when they're doing harmonic stuff and stuff, I mean, they work together and they do, and it so it almost sounds like one singer, even if Andy Darius is very husky and raspy, and Kiski is clean as a child in his voice, and still they sound like one singer when they do the harmonies. But Michael Kiske is number one, Kai Hansen and Darius, of course. But I think, as I said, I love Ralph Shepers, what he did in Gamma as well. But I think Kiske is number one for me today, and I would say that Tommy Johansson is actually number two. That was what I would say. And then you have all these kinds of singers. I mean, Ola Hallén, the work he's doing on this album, he's been taking big steps since the first Insane albums, and then the Preparatus. You can hear that he's been taking many steps, and his voice is totally different now, and he controls his voice in another way. But it would be very egoistic to say that that we have the best singer in the world. But I think Ola Hallén has taken many steps, and he's a top singer in Europe as well. I think so. But then, of course, there are many power metal singers in the world that you would like to play and sing with, of course.
Mm. Okay, okay. Well, Mikko, we arrived to the sad moment. Thank you very much for this interview. This last album, The Great Apocalypse, is a great one. Congratulations on this new one. I
Thank
remember I hear Insania since the beginning, since the first album, The World of Ice, and now I'm listening the full discography until now. Congratulations on this new one. Perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and obviously Metallica followers?
you. Yeah, well, it sounds like you're making it up, but as I said before, we have so many fans in Latin America, and people has been writing to us for so many years, and especially since Facebook came up with this messenger stuff that you can actually write to people in person, and you can become friends on Facebook even if you don't know them. We get so many personal messages, especially from South America, Latin America, and I can't really understand. Some people say that we have fan clubs for example, in Peru, and we had a cover band in Brazil traveling around and playing Insania songs. There are a lot of fans from Chile, Mexico, and Argentina, and I can't really understand. You can't really put your hand on and know what it is about because there's so many people in Latin America as well that let's say that we would play in a small club here in Sweden, we could probably play in a full house in Chile or in Peru or Uruguay or something like that. And that's what people write to us. You should come here. You would fill the arena, and we don't really understand that. But hopefully we will get to see that and to all the Latin American fans. We're so grateful. We would not be anything without the people like you because they are so honest and they're so deep into it. And the messages we get, we sometimes you don't have the time to respond, and sometimes you don't know what to respond. But we're so humble and we're so grateful. So yeah, to all of you, a massive thank you. It's from the bottom of my heart and from all of Insania. We're talking about that from time to time. That what the hell? Why aren't we going to South America or Latin America to play? Because it seems like people really want us there. So it's for the future to decide, and hopefully some agent will book us, and we could go there. That would be a dream come true.